Welcome to 5 After Midnight. It's a new show where we talk about the things the way you would around a sleep-deprived kitchen table. When you've run 5 or more calls after midnight, your brain feels half gone, and you and your crew have absolutely no filter. Just pure honesty. The goal of this series is to kick around the small things that really aren't so small and have a big impact in the way our firehouses function. My name is Stephanie. I'm genuinely not an expert at anything. I'm just here to ask the sometimes awkward questions. Enjoy.
Come too far, don't let this slip away. Fade out like they said we would.
Well, good morning, sunshine. For those tuning in, my guest today is the kindler, gentler, hand-holding guy of the internet, Robert Eckert, out of Camden, New Jersey. Bobby, I don't think anybody listening to this doesn't know who you are or needs a massive, in-depth and introduction to you. So, good morning.
Good morning. I don't think anybody's ever introduced me as Robert.
I mean, you know, like I said, we're showing the kindler, gentler side of you today.
Even my mother doesn't even call me Robert. So,
not even when she's angry at you.
No, that's a whole different.
That's a whole different name.
You don't want to go down that road.
Fair enough. Well, hey, you and I have been kicking around a conversation for a little bit, and we decided to push record on it about my favorite place, the internet. For those who don't know, I met you on the internet. I believe the best word to describe it is we were fighting each other. It's probably the nicest way to describe the conversation we were having on the internet. So the internet and you and me kind of holds a special, wonderful, warm, fuzzy place in my heart. You recently have been leaning into this everybody's favorite internet villain image. You made some stickers, fun stuff. But I think there is a deeper conversation to be had there. I know you have some lighthearted fun with it, but it's such a cesspool of a place. And something that you and I often talk about is it's very scary for what it represents for the fire service right now, because anybody can jump on with a drill, an opinion, a fact that they've made up, and they can completely affect fire service culture in a potentially negative, detrimental way.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, you can make a post from your bathroom closet and it goes out there for the world to see. The internet is always going to win. It always lives there. Even if you delete it, about 50 people already screen captured it. So the thing that bothers me the most is the way you're going to come at people, like in a negative implication. So if I was standing in front of you, I doubt many people would ever even say a word. And I don't hide behind the internet. Like a lot of these pages, they have a page name. They don't have their name. Like I don't hide behind who I am. So if you're going to come at me, but I would love to do it in person. And I'm not saying like in a physicality way where it's like a hockey fight. I'm just saying like, let's have a conversation of why you disagree or agree or whatever. But you can't just, when people put something out there, hopefully it's experience based from what they've dealt with. And that's what I try to do with my social media and my business is it's from a place of good heart and has been tried and true and it works well. I never mean any negativity behind it. And I always try to give positivity towards it. It's just sometimes you're met with negativity and a lot of it, you laugh off, like it's hilarious. And then I go to work and some of the jokes are even better, but recently it kind of infiltrated in a different way because, my son joined the fire service as a junior and it kind of got back to him and it really, I don't want to use the word anger. It made me a certain way where I kind of realized the depth that it goes to and it was kind of unnecessary. So in 2025, the only place to hold people accountable is online. You can't say, hey, meet me in the schoolyard at 3:00 and let's fight. You can't do that anymore. So it's online and if you're gonna, here's the thing: if you're gonna come at somebody, or you want to wage a war against somebody, or you don't like somebody, and you're gonna go, kind of make sure that your shop's a little clean and there's no skeletons in your closet, right?
Or Bobby will find them.
I don't have any skeletons in my closet. Oh my God, he likes to go to the bar. Wow, that's your only skeleton.
It's the timing for this isn't ironic. Part of the reason we're having this discussion is over the past week, my significant other had somebody come up to him and say, "Hey, the stuff that your wife puts on the internet," and they took issue with a comment I made, a joke between me and a buddy. And that's all it was, a joke. And they decided it was somehow about their department, and just they went around. A couple people, I guess, in the southern part of the state were having a tizzy about it. And instead of picking up the phone, you have my number. It's the internet. If you don't have my number, you've got 5 different ways to get a hold of me. But instead of doing that, it just was this spun up, ridiculous, hilarious thing that then infiltrated into his career space, which I did not appreciate in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it sucks. No, that sucks for him. And he's, I'm sure, in his capacity in his job, he's got other things to worry about.
No, and that's the thing. What are we doing as a fire service for worrying about comments that are made on the internet? Something that I've really seen that's scared me a lot lately is people pulling drills that they see off the internet. Stuff that's not vetted, stuff that's not rooted in experience in any way, shape, or form. It's a couple guys going out and saying, "Hey, let's try this. This sounds cool." And it happens to maybe go okay in that Instagram world of 5 phones recording it and in a secure and safe environment. And people are then pulling those off the internet and doing live fire drills on them. And they're going wrong. And that's something.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to get people hurt. I mean, that's if you're any type of instructor, obviously the safety of the participant in your drill or whatever you're doing is paramount. However, some things look good on the internet and you want likes or follows or shares, or you want to go to this conference and the only way to get in this conference is to do that. And to be honest with you, and you might get mad for saying this, but some of the names, the bigger names in the fire service that control, the mafioso of the fire service, they see this and give them a platform without even vetting it themselves. That's disheartening to people that are out there every day trying to make something better and do this the right way.
I think the biggest one I've seen pop up lately, and I'm seeing it in more and more conferences, is can confidence, which I will absolutely admit I've never taken a can confidence class, but I think we always have a desire to jump on the latest and greatest thing, right? I think the other part of that is you're seeing people take concepts that can be good, but then they're trying to make them bigger, better, flashier, and suddenly we have cans going downstairs into basement fires with no hose line in place in real life fire drills.
You got to remember, a can is listen. I'm not going to deny that it can put out fire. It can put out fire in different stages. However, when you're doing it in live fire training, you have pallets and hay. If I put my couch that's in my living room, I hate my couch, by the way, it's the worst couch ever. I can't wait to get rid of it. If I put that thing, maybe I will burn it. So if I put that thing in a burn building, it's going to give off a different heat release than pallets and hay, and that can might be useless. I think the biggest thing, as any tool in the fire service, whether it's a multi-purpose roof hook or a Halligan bar or a flathead axe or a hydrant wrench or your gloves, everything has a limitation. So it's getting to know the limitations of what you can and can't do with it. But we do a can class when I do my live weekend. I did the can class, the last one, and I show people what a can do. My biggest emphasis is on what it couldn't do. Water evaporates at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. People need to remember that. So there's only so much water in that can.
Not wrong. Here's something you and I have never discussed before that just popped into my head.
Oh
So
boy.
you and I, quote unquote, met over the internet probably about 2 years ago. We got into an argument. You thought I was a dude. You said, meet me face to face at FDIC. I said, sure, I'll meet you face to face. You were a little surprised that I wasn't a dude.
You were not a dude.
You were not a dude. Here's a question, though. We throw around my least favorite term because it's bastardized, brotherhood, all the time. How much of an effect do you think the internet, people having bullcrap, fake, brave fights on the internet, all that stuff affects, I hate this word, brotherhood, and how people are going to interact in the firehouse over the next generational 5 years? You and I did not grow up with the internet. This is a newer adult life concept to us, right? You and I learned how to communicate face to face, pick up the phone, all that kind of stuff. In fact, after we fought on the internet, we picked up the phone and had a conversation. We're used to doing that. That's how we're taught and trained. This next generation isn't. How much do you think that's going to affect that kitchen table, that firehouse, the ability to have conversations?
First off, I want to let whoever's listening know that you and I are now good friends. So I want to put that out there. We are good friends.
I'm allowed to call you Robert, so clearly we are.
Well, especially with union stuff. So we're good friends. Second off, I think it's a deeper conversation of mental health. I think it dives into mental health. Did you just use the words mental health? I did. I know that's your jam.
I feel like I'm rubbing off.
I see people fight a fight or get in these battles on the internet, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you're sitting somewhere with a phone in your hand and you're going at this about whatever else. I had a guy come at me, tell me, I can't believe people pay you to talk. Well, cool, man. Well, they do. I don't know what to tell you. And that's on him if he wants to think that. And he wants to go on and on and on. Meanwhile, I put my phone down and I'm hanging out with my children and enjoying my day off from the firehouse and doing things. So I think people need to take it as face value. So if you see something that you think you could try and you can get something out of it, try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, back to the drawing board. But I truly think even when I was a young firefighter, 17, 18, 19 years old, and I was the biggest buff I still am, I always wanted to learn from the guys that did it the most. And so if you're doing it consistently, you're the person that I want to learn from. And I say this all the time, and I have friends that work there. It's so cool to wake up and go on any Instagram page that Baltimore City has and see them work the day before. And they are tremendous. It's a tremendous culture, and some of the best firemen in the world work there. And I'm proud to call a lot of them friends. But it's just cool to see how they operate and they have each other's backs and do things and build each other up, and how they coexist. They just show a video. They don't show, hey, we did this and this is how you should do it. No, they're just saying we did it and this was the outcome. It's usually very positive. So if you look for a positive outcome, you're in turn going to be positive. If you look for a negative, you're going to be negative. There's two things in the world are contagious: positivity and negativity. Choose one.
How frustrating is it to simply want it to be educating the fire service and have to wade through internet bullcrap of just...
The biggest fight I've ever had in my entire life is a trained fireman. I have to fight. I have to fight the egos of other fire instructors at different levels too, different age ranges, their experience ranges. And I'm not going to get into myself, so I don't tell myself, but people don't give me any room or a place because of maybe how I look or where I'm from or how I talk or my sports teams or whatever. People can't weave through to learn who people really are. When I meet somebody, my father always told me, when you meet somebody in the day, you never know what they went through until they met you. So why not meet them with some positivity? And I totally agree with that. And maybe get to know people a little better and where they come from and their background and their experience level and where they operate. It's so, I love meeting some of these people from these real small jobs that are busy, and they're like, yo, bro, we got like 2 guys on our ladder truck, and like we're rolling up and doing it. I'm like, wow, like you're fucking awesome. I want to hang out with you and learn more about what you do and how you do it. Because to me, if I'm doing with 4, you're doing with 2, I can maybe learn something from you.
It's and not I know how much you love them. Not to say anything negative about FDNY, because listen, you work in completely different buildings than I'm ever going to work in right outside of DC. But it always makes me giggle a little when I see people trying to learn tactics from a department where, you know what, you're running more guys on an engine than we are. And I will never say negative. I will never say negative about the fire department in New York. I have a lot of good friends that work there, and their culture is their culture, and it works. It works for them. So everybody has an operational reality, and that's their operational reality. It works for them, and that's awesome. Good for them. They're very lucky to have what they have. I wish I had, you know, a 1% of what they had in my fire department in far as research and development and equipment, all that stuff. However, I need to take something from, I always have taken something from bits and pieces of everybody I've met in the instructor world when I was a really young pup, and tried to make it work for me. And there's one thing I try to do, and the guys that work with me try to do, we try to learn your operational reality, take our experience and see if we can plug it in some way. Round pegs, round holes. Only one of us has had coffee and some calm time this morning, and you can tell who that is. My point was, I would rather learn from somebody who does what you just said, does more with less. You do something with, 2, 3 guys on an engine.
Sure, but you got to remember, even a place like New York City, those guys are breaking off and doing things solo. The roofman's a roofman. He goes to the roof himself. So you can learn something from everybody everywhere. It doesn't matter where they're from. Look at these fires in the West Coast right now. That's probably one of the greatest challenges the fire service has been through since Mr. O'Leary's cow knocked over the lantern and started Fire Prevention Week, right? I mean, those guys are out there doing wild things. The things we might learn from that in years to come could make us a better fire service. You got to ground yourself to a point where you got to learn what people are doing and see if you can plug it into where you operate.
Take a little bit of something from everywhere and everyone.
Absolutely. I hate New York sports teams. There's no doubt about that. The Rangers suck.
I mean, I'm from the DC area, so we're not gonna.
Yeah, well, they suck too.
I won't touch the whole Eagles thing. But anyway, moving on. This past week, I asked you and Corley Moore to, at FDIC, do something a little bit different, which is going to be, you guys are going to be sitting down for 45 minutes and talking about doing the kind of tough underdog, doing what needs to be done, right stuff in the fire service. And I'm really excited about that because I think that's such a disheartening topic. I think so many people start on a road of, you know what, I don't like this. I see this. I want to change this. And then culture, which is then reflected in the internet culture we're talking about, just freaking jumps on them if it looks different, right? And different is often the fix, but we haven't fixed it because it looks different. So I'm excited to hear what you two have to come together and say about that.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I don't want to know what you're going to ask us, so we'll see how it goes. Corley and I get along really well. Him and his wife are great people, so I'm looking forward to the opportunity. It's going to be fun. I hope hope we get some attendees and we'll get wild. It's a great idea, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go find every person on the internet who's ever disagreed and yelled with you, and ask them what questions they want me to ask you. I'm kidding. Then I got to bring all my kids so I can put them next to me so they can see what I do on my days off.
No, I'm not gonna do that to you. But something I yell at you at frequently is your sleep in the fire service, injuries in the fire service. And something people don't realize is you're a dad. You've got not one kid, not two kids, not three kids, but you've got four kids. I think that's such a dichotomy that I enjoy about you is watching internet Bobby and then turning around and seeing you being a dad. And I think that's something we also don't think of in the fire service is we have these robust, complex lives outside of the firehouse. When you're arguing with somebody, you're seeing a small snapshot of their life and who they are on duty, because who we are on duty is sometimes different than who we are off duty. I don't know if it's the same for dudes. I know as a female, I'm going to be different on duty than I am off duty. I'm going to be a little meaner on duty. I'm not going to lie. And I think that's something else we don't consider when we're talking to people is this is a snapshot in time of a human being that I'm only seeing a small portion of. So
I spend more of my time parenting than I do firefighting. And that is something that I love my kids. I mean, I'm very involved in my kids' lives. And obviously being a single dad, it's a little more integral. However, I'm very involved in my children's lives. So I'm literally washing basketball uniforms right now for today. So life is life, and everybody has something outside of that. And I think it's important for people to remember that it's okay to like shut off the job and go
to a Flyers game.
Well, absolutely. Dollar dog night. You better go. Don't bring the ducks back because we're just going to kill you. But I'm proud of dad is my greatest title. I love my kids, and I admit that I wasn't always the best father and didn't always put my kids first because of trying to do this training thing, and I regret that. Right now, I try to do both at the same time, and trying to find a balance. At days, I struggle. However, my kids are it for me. I love being in. I don't want to miss a second of their lives, so I'm always there.
We're actually going to keep this short and sweet because I've kept you on task and on attention for 20 minutes, and I'm considering that an amazing miracle already. You're a captain, hopefully soon going to be a battalion chief at some point. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty scared about that too. That being said, you get a good snapshot of fire service culture as it evolves, as it changes to, and I'm not going to say other officers, to other leaders, because sometimes you can have a crappy officer and someone pops up on the shift as the leader. So to the firehouse leaders, what do you think is going to be the big hurdle and the way to solve it for shepherding this next generation of people who haven't learned how to talk to each other? And I'm guessing this is less of an issue up in New Jersey, right? You guys just yell at each other and don't live on the internet as much as other parts of the country. I mean,
no, we do. It's just we're a little different. I'm in South Jersey, by the way. I'm not in North Jersey. That's a whole
it's a different state, right? South Jersey. I mean, you guys are practically Philly.
We are. Well, no. If I went to Philly and said I'm from Philly and like where you're from, South Jersey, I'll probably get hit with a blunt object. So I'm from South Jersey. I love. Usually, everybody in the area has Philadelphia roots, and we love the Philadelphia teams. However,
to clarify, North Jersey is like the bougier, right outside of New York City kind of side of the state. So
it's a little different. Yeah. We're like a melting pot down here. We have everybody. How
are leaders gonna overcome that? And what do you need to teach? Be
consistent.
Yeah,
it's not about teaching. Just be consistent. Be yourself. Be vulnerable. Show people vulnerability. Show people where like maybe I'm not like I work in a special operations company where I work in a squad engine. So we have rope, we have all that stuff. That is my Achilles tendon. I am not. Do I know how to do it? I absolutely do. Do I need a pocket guide? 1,000%. 1,000%. Like, they're like, Bobby, get a 4-to-1. I'm like, hold on. Let me get my pocket guide out. Like, it's not my thing. And people might hear this and laugh at me, like, oh, he's a whatever. It's not my thing. I don't find joy. I don't even tie my shoes. I don't own a pair of shoes that I tie.
I believe that.
I don't find ropes exciting. I'm staring at a rope right now in my dining room that I washed today because my son and I are going to do ropes knots tonight.
I was about to have a lot of questions, but thank you for clarifying.
Fire service knots. I just washed it. I put it in a daisy chain and washed it. However, I think if you show consistency and show your weaknesses and let people know, show your strengths and let people know, like, hey, I'm not good at this, or this is where I maybe it's not my thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's like a relationship, right? I'm not saying maybe like a romantic relationship. Like, hey, I'm not good at this, but I'm good at this. I don't know. I think you're so intimate with your people all the time that I'm a hands-off boss. Like, I give my guys their space. Everybody jokes because after dinner I go to bed. Well, I go in my bedroom and I shut the door. I don't go to bed, but
yeah, you don't believe in sleep, so I don't believe that for 5 seconds.
No, sometimes I fall asleep. I get like an 8 to 11 o'clock sleep. It's more of giving guys the time to just be themselves. Like, it's a firehouse. The firehouse is supposed to be the most fun place ever. You don't need an officer breathing down your neck. And I always tell guys, like, I worked overtime last night and I walked in, and as soon as I walked in the back door, I yelled, "Party's here!" Like, I love working with these guys. It's hilarious, but like, don't make me be a captain. I don't want to be the boss. I want to be with you guys. When I got to be the boss, it means something has gone wrong. I'm talking about the firehouse. Now, when we're on the street, I have no problem being the boss and pushing people in the right direction. But in the firehouse, take it easy. Let your people relax, do their thing. It's 24 hours can be a long time, especially if you're busy. And you know that.
No comment. No, it's the worst days in the firehouse is when somebody starts writing a schedule up on the board and the micromanaging starts.
That micromanagement is the first sign of insecurity. It truly is. But we can always do better. I find managing expectations of the day is a very important thing in the fire service, especially the career fire service. Like, this is like, I call the battalion chief, or the battalion chief calls me in the morning, lets me know this is the day. All right. And I might roll my eyes like, we got to go here. And I'm like, gee, we got to go here. But we got to go. So we got to do. So put your smile on your face, tuck your shirt in. Let's go get it out of the way. And let's get on with our day. What's for lunch? Because I want to eat. What's for dinner? I want to eat. Everybody knows if you don't feed me, I get weird. So let's go.
It gets worse, is what you're saying? It gets weirder?
Oh, if you don't feed me, I'm an absolute weirdo.
Well, Robert, Bobby, should we expect a kinder, gentler internet you if someone picks a fight?
Now, if you come after me, I'm going to come after you. That's not going to stop.
So 2026 will be the year. Is that what you're saying?
No, just manage. Think about what's going on. Read the post. Like, a lot of people don't read the post. Like, read it. Read what's going on. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going off my experience. But if you come at me in a way where you're getting dirty, I'm going to come after you.
South Jersey, know what you're getting into. Well, I appreciate you taking the time this morning. This is a topic that's always annoyed me, is how people jump on it and then how it bleeds into your real life. If you're going to live on the internet, let the internet stay on the internet. It's not the real world.
There's always residual effects. It's when it's tripping into my son's life. That's not cool, man.
No, and cool. How old is he now?
And my oldest son's 15, and the least thing we talk about is firefighting. The number one thing we talk about is the Phillies and the Flyers. So it's and I have other I have other kids that have their interests, but they hear about it, and I try to resonate with all my kids' interests.
No, but it's that's if he goes that route, that's the next generation of Eckert firefighting right there, and
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's just deeper than that.
My point is the last thing you want is him to walk into the fire service having seen you get exhausted and annoyed by people coming up against you and thinking, you know what, if I frickin' say my opinion, people are going to come at me like they do. It's not how you want to start his firefighting career.
He's in a great place where people are going to take care of him because they take care of everybody there. He's in a great place, and it's good where he operates as a junior. You just got to remember, some things leave the internet and go different places. And again, here we go. Mental health. Why would you want to ruin somebody's life? It's not worth it. Self-reflection. It's key.
You've used those words twice now, 20 minutes, which means I don't think I'm going to hear them out of you for like a month, but I'll take what I can get.
Probably 6.
It's fair. Well, hey, thanks for talking this morning. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Welcome to 5 After Midnight. It's a new show where we talk about the things the way you would around a sleep-deprived kitchen table. When you've run 5 or more calls after midnight, your brain feels half gone, and you and your crew have absolutely no filter. Just pure honesty. The goal of this series is to kick around the small things that really aren't so small and have a big impact in the way our firehouses function. My name is Stephanie. I'm genuinely not an expert at anything. I'm just here to ask the sometimes awkward questions. Enjoy.
Come